tried mixing greens, purples, and oranges and just ended up with brown? Well, do you want to unlock the magic power of the rainbow and just don't know who to ask for help? You've come to the right place. As a future art educator who favors painting, I have made it my life ambition to teach the young and the old all of the processes. Color has a great importance in our world because it is in all of our surroundings. It affects our moods, it affects how we feel, and it affects how we look at things. A stoplight can tell us whether to stop or go using the concept of color, and it's even used to alter the moods at restaurants and community spaces. To further understand how colors are made, I will be demonstrating how to make secondary colors using primary colors. The primary colors are red, blue, and yellow, as you can see on this plate, and they are used to make purple, orange, and green. When one primary is mixed with another, it'll make a secondary. Color mixing also has a really rich history, starting in 1866 with Isaac Newton and Thomas Young in 1802. At the ages of 23, Newton invented the color wheel, which is how you kind of recognize the red and the blues and the greens and how they interact with each other on that circle. Later, Thomas Young observed that our eyes are the 3 color receptors responsible for receiving color. So there's 3 little cones in the eye, and then they tell us what color to see in the world. Together, they initiated what we now understand about color. The first thing you will need is the right supplies. So you're going to have 3 brushes, 1 for each primary color, and you have them right here. And then you'll have water, and then you have a cup, and then you want to have a plain piece of plate. And then you'll also want to have another one that you can have the paint laying on. And for the paint, we have red, and we have blue, and we have green. And you don't want like an off-tinted red or an off-tinted blue because that's going to give you off-tinted blues, purples and browns and stuff like that, and you're just not going to end up with anything really good. So what you want to do is you take the first color, and you take your first brush, and you just kind of whip it off a little bit. Sometimes it helps to have a paper towel to take the paint off the brush as you go, but you don't really need that. And I think we're going to start with orange. So in order to do that, you take a little bit of red, kind of mix in that paint, and you make another little swatch on the plate. And then after you have enough red, you take yellow, mix that in there too. And depending on how much red or yellow you use, the orange can be a little bit tricky because it can end up being too red or too yellow. So you want just the right amount that you get like a nice little orange color. And sometimes you might have to take a little bit more yellow and a little bit more red. After you have that color, you go ahead and take another piece and you just wash it right on there. And you can get like a nice big circle just to see how that is. And then I'll demonstrate how you can get kind of more of a red or orange as well. So I'll take a little bit more red, throw in that swatch, and I'll throw it right next to it. So you can see that this orange is just a little bit more of a red orange, but it's not quite red. So you've got to have like a nice eye so you can kind of catch those things. And then while we're at it, I'll throw on another little yellow one. Because this color won't be quite yellow, but it's not going to be as orange as this one, as you can see. So after you have one color done, you rinse out that brush and you put it back in the water, because what I'm using right now is acrylic paint and it dries really, really fast. So you don't want it to dry on your bristles or you will ruin your brush. So after that, you take the next brush, keep it nice and wet, and you're going to go into blue and yellow to make green. And blue is very overpowering compared to yellow, so you're going to want not as much blue and more yellow. And once you mix those together, you'll get like a nice little grass color. Maybe a little bit more. And you can go ahead and throw a swatch on there. Also, to keep in mind, the quality of paint is also going to affect the colors that you get. So if you have cheaper paint, you might be ending up with more brown colors, but if you have high quality paint, you're going to be getting some really nice oranges and greens. And since I demonstrated for the other ones, I'll show a quick little blue-green, and then I'll show you some yellow-green. once again, you rinse out your brush. And you get your next one. And this will be the last secondary color. So this is going to be purple. Purple is always really tricky to mix because both red and blue are very dark values. So it's going to be kind of hard, but we'll get pretty purple. This is really nice paint, so we shouldn't have a problem. So we get a nice little purple right there. And go ahead and throw it on there. And for demonstration's sake, I'm just going to show you some red purple. You can see how it has a little bit more of that orangey tint to it. And I'm going to show you some just straight up blue purple, which is pretty much going to look like blue, but it has a little bit of that in there. And of course you throw the brushes back in here. And then what you end up with is a nice little color swatch of the secondaries, and you even end up with a color wheel on this one. So as Isaac Newton was talking about, you can see the red, the yellow, the blue, and in between is what makes up the spectrum. So the green, the purple, and the orange. And once those are all together, you get that nice little color wheel, and you can fill it into the bottom. But we will not be doing that since we're doing secondaries and primaries today. So, in conclusion, overall, these are the basic steps for beginners when it comes to color mixing. We have learned about the history, mixed the colors, and applied the skills to see the effects. Now that we have explored primary and secondary colors, you have the knowledge to observe and understand the colors around you. With this basic knowledge, you'll be able to go into depth and further learn about the hues, tints, shades, and tones of a color. You can learn more on Craftsy.com as well. I hope you enjoyed the demonstration, and now that you have that information, you can go ahead and go out into the world and observe all the colors around you. Alright, so tips, anything like that, or what you think? Did I talk too fast, talk too slow?
The only thing I could see was don't turn your back kind of to the audience. Like sometimes when your note cards are back there, you would turn around.
Mm-hmm.
Just try to face forward.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Real?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, so with like, obviously the color wheel, like that was, did Isaac Newton do that on purpose, like have the,
Yeah.
like the primary and then, okay.
Anything then?
At the beginning when you're reading off your note cards, maybe look up at the audience more.
Okay, sounds good. We can do it.